Hi, parents. How are you? How you feeling today? I hope okay. I talked with your kids a few minutes ago about checking in with their feelings. With their feelings, I shared with them that I was feeling a little bit gloomier today. The weather is rainy here in Florida, in the Sunshine State. Staying in St. Petersburg, Florida, where it's really sunny every day, and when it's not, I should not be feeling gloomy at all. Feel very spoiled staying here with my cousin. I live in New York, and we're actually New Jersey now, but right over the river. And I I feel like I'm very very fortunate to be able to stay here and enjoy the Florida sunshine. Anyway, um, yesterday, or 2 days ago, I read a short story to your kids, and I shared with them today the importance of thinking about your feelings in the middle of a book, but also at the end of the book, and really paying attention to what is the character feeling at the end of the book, and using this chart to kind of help them with that. One thing that's interesting about this book, which I didn't really talk to kids about, but I will talk to you about, is that sometimes books don't really, and stories don't always end the way we hope they do. And sometimes the characters, um, often, and especially when books get harder, the characters go through big changes, through life changes. And sometimes in those life changes, it's not always feeling so great, and that's just part of life, right? And so in this book, there's multiple themes inside of this story. Themes of growing up, themes of what does it mean to be a boy, themes of how we show love, and things that come up in our world, in our society, and so one thing that I think you can do with your kids is, for sure, let them know that sometimes books, when they end, it's characters change, and sometimes those changes, they're very similar to real life. Things don't feel so great, and looking at sort of those downsides, you know um, sometimes, because of something that happens, we feel a little sad, we feel a little lonely, we feel disappointed, and those feelings change. It's what's the beauty of feelings, that we know, is that, as much as people talk about happiness, which we could be happy all the time, feelings change. And you can't be happy all the time, can't be sad all the time, you won't be. But we want to pay attention to those feelings for ourselves, and definitely in books that we read. And then, really talking to them about lingering over a book. When a book is done, a book should live inside you for a little while, and you can do that by writing, and writing about, like, what the character might be feeling, but then also, what are you taking away from this book? What are you questioning? What are you questioning in your own life, in friends' life, in the world? Every story, especially as stories get harder, kids in fourth, fifth, sixth grade, the themes become very complicated. And the author is really wanting you to think or feel a certain way. And everything that we bring to a story, we bring all of us to that story in that moment. And that's why, for one person, they might think or feel something, and for someone else might think or feel another. And the writer is writing in those sort of sophisticated ways to evoke those kinds of responses. No matter whatever you bring to the book, a book should, like an interaction with a person, like growing up, it should, you know, be a part of you, and help you influence and think about who you are and who you want to be in this world. And so to kind of talk back when things bother you about a book, um, maybe disagree, say it's actually not the way the world works, maybe worked that way a long time ago, maybe that's not, or talk with somebody else about that, and specifically taking themes like, maybe about boy roles, that society says these are, things that we do with boys, whatever the theme is that the author is trying to get us to think a little bit about, and sharing that with a bunch of people, and really hearing different perspectives to add on to your perspective. Not to change it necessarily, but to add it, to shape it, to help you be a more well-rounded human being, right? So I think the biggest thing you can do is talk to kids when they're finishing their books. Really ask them what are some of those things that the author is trying to get us to think or feel, maybe even to make us a little upset or disagree around, and have some conversation around that. That can be one of the biggest things that you can do to support your kids. Okay, parents, great seeing you. Thanks again for everything you do, and I'll see you on Monday.